She left. You pulled away. And now she's texting again. Not to apologize, not to explain. Just, hey. Or maybe something even more confusing like, hope you're doing okay. And right there, you pause. Every part of you wants to reply, wants to believe, wants to make sense of what she means. But deep down, another voice whispers, why now? This moment is where most men fail. They forget the pain. They forget the silence. They forget how she disappeared the moment things got uncomfortable. And instead, they rush to open the door wide open again, without asking themselves one crucial question. Why is she coming back now? Let's be real. Women aren't clueless. If she's reaching out, it's not random. It's calculated. It's emotional. And in some cases, it's just her checking to see if you're still waiting. Some call it a loyalty test. Others call it a power move. Whatever it is, you need to understand this. Every time you respond too quickly, you give away your value. The modern man is being trained to always do the right thing. Be polite. Be open. Be available. But nobody tells you the cost of being too accessible. Nobody tells you that sometimes silence is more powerful than words. So this video isn't about revenge. It's not about playing games. It's about power, emotional control, and understanding why your reaction matters more than her message. Because here's the hard truth. She might not want you back. She might just want to know you're still hers. And if you don't learn to recognize the difference, you'll be stuck in a loop, always reacting, never leading. In this video, we're going to break it all down. When should you ignore her? When should you respond? What signs actually mean something? And which ones are just bait? Men, this is the knowledge you were never taught. But after today, you'll never look at a hey stranger the same way again. 1. Her message isn't about you. When she suddenly pops up in your phone after weeks or months of silence, your first instinct might be, she misses me. But here's the truth most men don't hear enough. Her message probably has nothing to do with you. It's not about missing your laugh. It's not about realizing your worth. In many cases, it's about how she's feeling right now, not how she feels about you. A lot of guys think a text means she's had a change of heart, that she's finally seen the light. But more often than not, it's just about her mood. Maybe she's lonely. Maybe the guy she left you for disappeared. Maybe her ego needs a boost. Or maybe she just wants to see if you'll still answer. Either way, it's not about reconnecting. It's about reassurance. Women live in a world of emotions, and sometimes those emotions hit hard at 1 a.m. That's when the hey stranger shows up. It feels personal, but it's really not. And this is where men get trapped. Because we attach meaning to her message. We want it to mean something. But in reality, it could be as simple as her feeling bored and needing attention for 5 minutes. Here's how this plays out. You've been silent, focused on your life, healing, moving forward. Then suddenly she sends a random, hey. You reply. You keep it light. She laughs. It feels good. But then she goes cold again. No follow-up, no effort. And now you're confused, wondering what it meant. It meant nothing. That moment was about her, not you. She wanted to feel something. She did. And now she's gone again. That's why you need to pause before replying. Ask yourself, is this message really about reconnecting, or is it just her fishing for a response? Because when you stop taking every message personally, you stop being emotionally controlled. And that's where your power begins. 2. She misses control, not you. A lot of men make the mistake of thinking, if she's texting me again, she must miss me. But that's not always true. Sometimes, what she really misses is having control over you. You used to be available. You used to respond fast. You used to chase. And now, you're silent. Focused. Harder to reach. That shift creates discomfort for her. Not because she wants you back, but because she doesn't feel in control anymore. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Some women don't want to be with you, but they also don't want to see you move on. That loss of emotional control can feel like rejection to them, and many will test the waters, not to rebuild a relationship, but to make sure you haven't fully slipped away, So when she reaches out, it's not always about feelings. It might just be about her ego. Let's break this down with an example. You were always the one calling, texting, checking in. She knew you were there. She had control. Then, after the breakup, you stopped. No calls, no texts, no reactions on her stories. Suddenly, she's the one texting you. Hey, I saw something that reminded me of you. Innocent? Maybe. But watch what happens when you don't give her the same energy back. She goes cold, maybe even annoyed. Because the moment you didn't jump, she realized, you're no longer under her spell. This is what she misses. Not your presence, but your predictability, your emotional obedience. And if you fall back into old patterns, texting back too fast, being too available, you give that power right back to her. Not because she earned it, not because anything changed, but because she wanted to see if she could. So understand this. Her reaching out might not be about love, regret, or growth. It could be about control. And the only way you protect yourself is by not giving it away again. Not every message deserves a reply. Some deserve silence, especially the ones meant to test, not reconnect. 3. The loyalty test trap. This is where a lot of men get played without even realizing it. She disappears, walks away, cuts communication. And then, out of nowhere, she checks in again. A text, a like. A random message that feels warm, but confusing. And you're left wondering, is she coming back? Here's what's really happening. She's testing you, not to see if she can trust you, but to see if you are still loyal to her. Women have their own ways of checking if you're still emotionally tied. They don't always need a full conversation. Sometimes all they need is your response, to confirm that you're still there, still hoping, still waiting. And the worst part? Most men don't see it for what it is. They mistake it for interest, affection, or even regret. But let's break it down clearly. If someone left you, chose distance, or cut off communication, and now suddenly drops breadcrumbs without clarity, they're not being genuine. They're testing your emotional loyalty without offering anything in return. This trap works because most men are wired to prove themselves. We think, if I show her I'm still here, she'll come back. But the opposite usually happens. The moment she sees you're still loyal, without her doing anything to earn it, she loses respect. That's how the trap works. She triggers your hope. You respond. She backs off. And now you're stuck thinking about her again. Nothing changed. She's still gone. You're still confused. And now your peace is gone too. The truth is, you're not failing the test. You're just not supposed to be taking it in the first place. You're not a student in her emotional classroom. You're a man with his own path, his own time, and his own worth. So when she suddenly reaches out after leaving, ask yourself, is this connection or control? Is this sincerity or strategy? Because once you see it for what it is, you stop falling for the same cycle. The test only works when you respond. And sometimes the most powerful answer is no reply at all. 4. Emotion is not intention. Just because she's emotional doesn't mean she's serious. This is where too many men lose the plot. She cries. She says she misses you. She says she's been thinking a lot lately. And boom, you're back in. You believe it. You soften. You let your guard down. But let me tell you something that will save you years of pain. Feelings in the moment don't equal real change. A woman can feel something today, say all the right things tonight, and wake up tomorrow like nothing happened. And if you're a man who constantly falls for emotion without watching for intention, you're going to keep getting spun in circles. That emotional message, that sad voice note, that I miss you text at 11:43 p.m., none of it matters unless it's followed by real action. Men, stop getting fooled by temporary emotion. This is where you need to take accountability, because a lot of you want to believe her words. You want it so badly that you ignore her patterns. You forget how she walked away. You forget how she treated you. You forget the silence. Why? Because you're desperate for the feeling again. But feelings are cheap without commitment. She might be emotional, yes. She might genuinely feel something in the moment. But if her message isn't backed by real effort, real consistency, then it's just another wave in her emotional ocean. And you're the one drowning in it. So wake up. Being a man isn't just about strength. It's about discernment. It's about looking past words and watching behavior. You can forgive her. You can care for her. But you don't reward emotions that don't come with responsibility. She says she misses you? Cool. Let's see if she shows up differently. Let's see if she takes accountability. Let's see if she makes real effort. Until then, don't confuse her mood with her mindset. You don't build a future off of feelings. You build it off of intentions that stay consistent long after the feelings fade. 5. If she left, she chose that let's stop pretending she got confused. Let's stop telling ourselves it was bad timing. Let's stop calling it a mistake. If she walked away, she made a choice. Nobody accidentally leaves someone they truly want to build with. Nobody slips and disappears for weeks or months. That's not confusion. That's a decision. And here's where a lot of men lose themselves. They rewrite the past to protect their feelings. They tell themselves she didn't really mean it, that she was scared, that she needed space, that maybe, just maybe, it was their fault. Stop. You're not here to carry her guilt. You're not here to make excuses for someone who gave up on you. If she left, she made that call. And if she's now reaching out again, the first thing you need to remember is this. She already knew what it felt like to lose you, and she accepted it. You didn't disappear. She did. You didn't pull the plug. She did. And now that she's bored, lonely, or uncertain, she wants to see if the door is still cracked open. Too many men rush to unlock it the second she knocks. Not because she earned it, but because he forgot what it cost him the first time. Men, you've got to stop being so quick to forget pain just because it feels good in the moment. Love doesn't erase history, and connection doesn't cancel choices. She walked out. She weighed the options. She saw what she had, and she still chose distance. That's not an accident. That's clarity. And now, you need yours. Yes, people grow. Yes, people change. But that change must come with real actions, real humility, real ownership, not just a casual, hey stranger. So if she left, let her prove, not just say, why she deserves to come back. Because here's the reality. If she made the decision to walk away, then she also made peace with the risk of losing you. Don't forget that. Her feelings don't override her choices, and your feelings shouldn't override your self-respect. 6. You're not her backup plan. Read that again. You're not her backup plan. You're not the safety net she can run to when her other options fail. You're not the just-in-case guy she keeps in her back pocket while she explores someone else. And you're definitely not the comfort zone she returns to when the world doesn't go her way. But here's what too many men are doing. They accept the role of second choice, without even realizing it. She left. She tried something new. She moved on. And now, it didn't work out. She's lonely. She's curious. She's looking for stability. And who's still there? You. Still checking her page. Still hoping for a message. Still waiting for closure. So when she finally reaches out, you convince yourself, maybe she realized I'm the one. No. She realized you're still available. Let's be honest. If she really saw your value, she wouldn't have needed to test someone else. She would have built with you, not walked away from you. And now that her plan A failed, you're supposed to smile and play plan B? You deserve better than that. Men, stop confusing a return with respect. Just because she came back doesn't mean she sees you differently. Sometimes she just needs a warm body. Someone familiar. A soft place to land when her world feels cold. But that's not love. That's convenience. And if you allow yourself to play that role, you'll always feel half chosen, half loved, half respected, because deep down, you'll know the truth. You weren't her first choice. You were her safe choice. That's not who you are. You're not the guy she runs to when things fall apart. You're the man she should have never walked away from. So stop giving loyalty to someone who gave up on you. Stop answering messages that don't come with real accountability. And stop entertaining a woman who only calls when her world goes quiet. You are not Plan B. You are the full plan. Act like it. 7. Silence builds power. In a world full of noise, silence is a weapon, and most men don't even realize they have it. When she reaches out and you don't reply, you're not being weak. You're not being petty. You're not playing games. You're setting the tone. Because silence, real, intentional silence, builds power. Here's what men need to understand. She expects you to react, to chase, to reply the moment she throws a breadcrumb. Why? Because you used to. And when you don't, that silence speaks louder than any message ever could. It says, I'm not the same man you walked away from. It says, I don't move based on your mood swings anymore. It says, you don't have the same access to me. And that shakes her. Because attention is a form of validation. And when she no longer has control over how and when you give it, that silence becomes uncomfortable for her. But here's the catch. Most men break their silence too early. They feel guilt. They feel pressure. They overthink. They wonder, what if she's serious this time? So they respond. They re-engage. And just like that, the power is gone. That silence? It wasn't just distance. It was proof that you've grown. That you've healed. That you've outgrown the version of yourself who needed her approval. And when you break it for the wrong reasons, you step right back into the old role, the one that kept you stuck. Men, learn to sit in your silence. Not out of bitterness, but out of strength. Not every message deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves your energy, especially not from someone who once walked away without hesitation. You owe it to yourself to protect your peace, to preserve your value, to remind yourself that you are no longer that same version of you who begged for answers. Silence builds mystery. It builds presence. But more importantly, it builds discipline. Because when you can master silence, you've mastered yourself. 8. Respect doesn't return overnight. Just because she texted you doesn't mean she respects you again. And that's where a lot of men mess up. They think one message, one call, one tearful apology means everything has changed. But here's the truth. Respect takes time to rebuild, and she hasn't done the work yet. Let's break this down clearly. She walked away. She stopped communicating. She may have even replaced you. That decision wasn't random. It was a reflection of where she saw your value at that time. Now, just because she's feeling something doesn't mean that value has changed in her eyes. It just means she's curious, or nostalgic, or lonely. But don't mistake curiosity for respect. A lot of women reach out to see if you're still available, not because they suddenly see your worth, but because they want to check if they still have access to it. And if you respond immediately, if you open the door wide without hesitation, if you act like nothing happened, you're confirming her original belief that she can leave and you'll still be there. Respect doesn't work that way. You don't rebuild it with one sweet message. You don't restore it with one phone call. It takes consistency, patience, ownership of past behavior. And until she shows that, you owe her nothing. This is where men need to stop being so emotionally driven. You want to feel good. You want the connection. But real connection starts with mutual respect, not temporary emotions. So ask yourself this. Has she acknowledged how she treated you? Has she taken accountability? Has she shown any signs of growth, not just words, but actions? If not, then her message is not a restart. It's just a ping. And if you treat that ping like a full-on relationship recovery, you're walking into another heartbreak. You're not a placeholder for when she feels ready again. You're a man who deserves effort, clarity, and real respect. And until she proves she can give that again, She doesn't get the version of you that gave his all. 9. Don't reward confusion. If she doesn't know what she wants, let her figure it out without you. Too many men are out here rewarding confusion. She left you. Then she missed you. Then she said she wasn't sure. Then she needed space. Then she came back. Then she pulled away again. And every time, you were there. You're not a therapy session. You're not an emotional sponge. You're a man, not a revolving door. When you reward confusion, you send one loud message. You don't have to be sure about me. I'll stay here anyway. And the moment she learns that, you've lost control. You've lost leadership. You've lost your value. Let's be real. People who respect you don't leave you confused. They don't send mixed signals. They don't make you guess. They show up with clarity and consistency. So when a woman reaches out after ghosting you, or after breaking things off, and starts saying things like, I don't know what I want right now. Part of me misses you, but I'm just figuring myself out. That's not an invitation to reconnect. That's emotional chaos. And you're not here to clean that up. The man who respects himself says, figure that out on your own. I'm not waiting around while you stay undecided. Because here's the truth. You don't build healthy relationships with people who can't make decisions. You don't build peace with people who bring confusion. And you sure as hell don't build trust with someone who doesn't even trust their own feelings. Men, stop falling for emotional smoke signals. Clarity is attractive. Stability is attractive. Certainty is attractive. Confusion is a red flag. And every time you reward it with your time, your energy, your replies, you lower your own standards. She's allowed to be unsure. But you're allowed to walk away from that uncertainty. You're not being cold. You're not being mean. You're being a man who refuses to build with someone who doesn't even know if they want to stay. And that's called self-respect. 10. Make her earn the access. If she lost access to you, she shouldn't get it back just because she asked. This is where men need to stop being so emotionally cheap. Too many of you are giving away premium access to a woman who once walked away. No questions asked, no standards held, no boundaries set. You've got to stop treating yourself like a free trial. She doesn't just get to log back in like nothing happened. You're not the same man anymore. You've grown, you've healed, you've evolved. So why would you give her instant access to the new version of you when she couldn't handle the old one? Here's the truth. Access to you is earned, not owed. She left. That was her choice. And choices come with consequences. If she wants back in, she needs to show consistency, effort, accountability, patience. That means no late night hey messages, no fake check-ins, no attention games. It means real effort, real actions, real humility. And most importantly, she has to move at your pace now. Too many men let women re-enter on their terms. She hits you up, and suddenly she's setting the vibe, asking for favors, expecting emotional access like nothing happened. No. She needs to re-earn the privilege of being in your life. And that starts with you recognizing your value. You don't rush back into her world because it feels good. You slow it down. You set the tone. You take your time. Why? Because you're not just giving her access to your time. You're giving her access to your mind, your energy, your peace. That's sacred. And if she can't respect the process, if she's rushing, pressuring, or playing games again, you cut it off. No drama, no hate, just standards. Because when you finally learn to protect your space, you'll realize something powerful. It's not about getting her back. It's about making sure the next version of the relationship doesn't disrespect the man you've become. So yes, she can reach out. But that doesn't mean she gets back in. Let her earn it. Let's end this with a truth most men are afraid to say out loud. Just because she reaches out doesn't mean she deserves access to you ever again. Read that twice. Forgiveness is free. But access? That's earned. You are not here to be emotionally recycled every time someone feels lonely, regretful, or bored. You are not here to be the emotional safety net for someone who didn't choose you when it mattered. If she walked away, that was her decision. But if you let her walk right back in without growth, without effort, without accountability, you're not being loyal. You're betraying yourself. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced this? Did she come back after leaving? Did you respond? Or did you hold the line? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and yes, I'll respond. This channel isn't just content. It's connection. You're not going through this alone, brother. Let's build strength together, one hard truth at a time.